All right, let's talk about something we all use every single day, software. We're going to pull back the curtain on the apps and programs that pretty much run our digital lives. So let's just dive right in, shall we?
I mean, just think about it for a second. You interact with software literally hundreds of times a day. From the alarm app that drags you out of bed, to checking your email on the go, to binging that new show at night, it's just constant.
So we're always tapping, clicking, swiping away on our screens. But have you ever stopped to think, what's really going on under the glass? What are we actually telling our devices to do? Well, that's what we're here for. We're going to peel back the layers of this digital onion, starting with the part we all know best.
So, let's start at the very top, the surface level. We're talking about application software. You can just think of these as apps. They're the programs built specifically for you, the user, to get something done.
Basically, all these apps make up our digital toolkit, right? And they usually fall into a few big categories. You've got your productivity tools to help you get work done, your communication apps to stay in touch, graphics and media software for all that creative stuff, and of course, entertainment, games, readers, you name it. The key thing is each one has a very specific job it's designed to do.
Okay, so having all these awesome apps is one thing. But how do they even get onto our phones and computers in the first place? And what are the rules of the road for using them? Well, that brings us to our next layer down.
And this is a really important difference to get. You've got two main types. First, local or native apps. These are the ones you actually install directly on your device. Think of a game you download to your phone. They're built specifically for that operating system, like iOS or Windows. Then, you have web-based apps. These guys live out in the cloud, and you just get to them through your internet browser. The huge advantage there? They'll work on pretty much any device that has a browser. Super flexible.
Okay, be honest. You've totally clicked that I agree button without reading a single word, right? We all have. Well, what you're agreeing to is the software license, sometimes called an EULA. That's the binding legal contract that lays out all the rules, what you can, and more importantly, what you can't do with that software. And the most common type is commercial software. It's pretty straightforward. You buy it, you get a license to use it. Now, for most of us, that's a single user license, meaning it's just for you on your machine. But big companies and schools, they can buy something called a site license, which lets them install it for a whole bunch of users at once.
Of course, developers want you to test drive their stuff before you buy it. And they've got a few popular ways to do that. There's shareware, where you get the full-featured program, but only for a limited trial period. Then there's demoware, that's usually a more basic version. You often find it pre-installed on a new computer. And then there's freemium. This one is huge today. You get the basic version completely free, and the company is betting you'll love it so much, you'll pay to unlock all the cool premium features.
Now, it's super easy to get freemium mixed up with freeware, but they're different. Freeware is software that's genuinely 100% free to use, no strings attached. But, and this is the important part, it's still copyrighted. The creator still owns it. That means you can use it, but you can't start changing the code or trying to sell it yourself.
But then, what if the whole idea isn't just about giving software away for free, but about building it together as a community? Well, that's the amazing, powerful idea behind open source software. With open source, the actual programming code, the source code, is made public. Anyone can look at it, learn from it, modify it, and even help improve it. It's a total shift in thinking, really. It's less of a product you buy and more of a project you can join. And Linux is probably the most famous, most successful example of this in the world.
All right, so if we've covered the apps, the software we actually see and touch every day, but what about the invisible stuff? What's running underneath it all, making it all possible? It's time to dive one level deeper, right into the very core of your device.
We're talking about the operating system, or the OS. You can think of the OS as the boss, the master controller, the brain of the whole operation. It's the one master program that's in charge of everything, all the hardware, all the other software. It's really what gives your phone or your computer its unique personality.
So what does this boss actually do all day? Well, it's the ultimate manager. It's constantly juggling your device's resources, like memory and the processor. It handles every single input from your keyboard, your mouse, your touchscreen. It's what lets you run a bunch of programs at once. That's multitasking. And it keeps track of all your files and where they're stored. Honestly, without the OS, your fancy device would just be a very expensive paperweight.
And the major players in the OS world are names you absolutely know. On desktops and laptops, you've got Windows, which is just everywhere because of its massive software compatibility. Then there's macOS from Apple, famous for being super easy to use, really reliable, and secure. And when you look at mobile devices, it's basically a two-horse race between Apple's very controlled iOS for iPhones and iPads and Google's more open and customizable Android.
Okay, that's a lot of theory. So let's bring all these ideas, apps, licenses, operating systems, let's bring it all together and see how it works in the real world. We'll use a category of software that pretty much all of us use every single day.
You definitely know these names: Microsoft Office, Google Workspace. These are what we call productivity suites. They're basically bundles of powerful apps like word processors and spreadsheets, all packaged together with one goal: to make you more effective and efficient at what you do.
Let's zoom in on one of the most powerful tools in that suite, the spreadsheet. Now, it might just look like a grid of boxes, but don't be fooled. Its real magic, its real power, is in its ability to do complex calculations and something really cool called what-if analysis.
To get spreadsheets, you really only need to know three key things. First, the cell. That's just the little rectangular box where you type your data. Second, the formula. This is a calculation, and the key thing to remember is that it always starts with an equal sign. And third, that what-if analysis we mentioned, the magic is just this. You change a number in one cell, and bam, the spreadsheet instantly recalculates everything connected to it. It's an absolute game changer for budgeting or planning.
But you know what happens when you have so much data that a spreadsheet just can't handle it anymore? Well, that's when you level up to a database. Think of databases as the industrial strength tool that big organizations use to store, manage, and report on just massive amounts of structured information. And honestly, the easiest way to wrap your head around it is to just picture a giant digital address book. So each person you enter into that book, that's a record. It's one complete entry. Then each little piece of info for that person, like their last name or their phone number, that's a field. So what's a query? A query is just asking a specific question of your database. Something like, hey, show me everybody whose birthday is in June. It's how you find the exact information you need in a massive sea of data.
So there you have it. We've taken a journey from the familiar apps on our screen, down through the rules of the road that govern them, all the way to the core operating system that makes everything possible. We've seen how all these different layers work together to give us these incredibly powerful tools. So I guess the only question left to ask is, now that you know how it all works, what are you going to build with it?